it's time to call upon stage on the dais a very distinguished personality, Shri Nilam Patel ji, Managing Director of India Operations at S&P Global India. And he's going to share valuable insights on deep tech versus shallow tech adoption opportunities in fintech industry. So are we all ears to hear the wisdom from him? Wise words, insights? So you have to say yes so loudly that he himself, is like, ab mujhe aake batana hi padega. So can we hear a loud yes for Shri Nilam Patel ji? Wonderful, sir. Welcome.
Very good morning, friends. How are you? First of all, thank you, Pranav bhai. Thank you, GESIA team, for having me. Thanks for the opportunity. As we just discussed, this is an attempt to provide you a little bit highlight of how the technology is spreaded over the universe and how we see it differently at the different lifespan. Before we start, I would like to brief you a little bit about our organization because it might be a tongue twister to start with. S&P Global stands for Standard & Poor's Global, and maybe about 160 years of legacy that we carry. Our organization has been into the financial sector forever, and we have a history of 160 years. Previously, till 2016, this company was known as McGraw-Hill Financial. I'm sure everybody will be able to connect to it because all of us has probably taken the books of Tata McGraw-Hill when we were growing up. So yeah, that's the company. Till 2016, we had multiple businesses, be it publication, Aviation Week was our brand, Business Week. So all of those were the initiatives of identifying the intelligence which is probably developing into some kind of small area and making it a global one. The first introduction of that was railroad data in United States, which was in 1800 century. So since then, S&P Global is actually into the intelligence and analyticals business. We are providing the world kind of outlook through which we basically tell the truth, a real truth. So we are a very credibility business. It's purely based on the opinions, and whatever we actually get in terms of our clientele is they are very happy to get our recommendations and opinion, which is probably very pricey in the overall nature. Some of the divisions, if I briefly talk about, like S&P Global Market Intelligence focus mainly on the data news analytics. S&P Global Dow Jones Indices is managing our, like Bombay Stock Exchange Sensex is counted by S&P. Similarly, Australian Stock Exchange, New York Stock Exchange, Thailand Stock Exchange. So we have that kind of stock market operations. S&P Global Rating, I'm sure now the conversation around the rating has picked up with Fitch downgrading federal government. So yeah, we are one of that, S&P, Moody's, and Fitch. We also have some of our new businesses coming up through the acquisitions that has been done in 2020, which is about S&P Global Mobility. I'll take I just wanted to give you this understanding because when we talk about technology, the biggest thing for us, the technology is the backbone. And we have to make sure that we continuously advance the way we work so that we can give a faster, very accurate and more reliable data to our clients and the world through which every stock market opens in every day morning. So that's little bit about our organization. Can we go? Now when we talk about, next slide please. Yeah, so this is a little bit about, a look forward journal which was introduced on Wednesday in presence of our Chief Economist of India, where we basically talked about how India is going to perform in next few years by 2030 and what would the GDP growth will look like, how each sector will perform. All of these are connected to how India is performing into the global platform of the economy and how we will be looking forward. So I just wanted to give a little bit about it. Technically, if I say today, if you look into and last probably couple of years post-COVID, if you see the GDP growth of every country is dipping, or growing by a very little percentage. India is the only country in the world which is doing the best. India's economy is growing by 6.7%, and it will look like that it will probably grow to 7 to 8% in the coming future, which is an amazing performance by the overall economy, and obviously all the steps that the government has taken are strengthening the same one. Now coming to a technology revolution, because I think one thing is very constant. One is the technology will keep moving from one place to other place. It will make the life easier, but it will also make life little challenging for everybody to adopt. When we talk about some of the tech stacks which has got mature over the time, maybe 50 years back, or it is hard to believe that the first mobile in India came in 1995. And we see probably 28 years of transformation today. It is hard to live without mobile. India has more than one mobile per person, and that is the kind of adoption we all have taken. When the technology gets mature, it becomes a shallow tech. It's more like people can now know it, can operate into it. But briefly talking about a deep technology, that's where we basically talk about high-tech innovations. Many of our GESIA entrepreneurs are operating into this space. They basically take the full advantage of artificial intelligence, machine learning, blockchain, Gen AI. I think ChatGPT is the buzzword today. Many people have now started using that. I was just talking to a few friends, and he said, "Oh, I have written my performance evaluation through ChatGPT this time." So, that's a kind of articulation everybody wants to have, because the best of what you can get through the technology, why can't you make it? So, all of that is where the lot of innovation is done, and it's not that only a big company like Google, Microsoft does it. Even small players does a lot of innovations. And obviously then it goes to the patent route, and some of them gets patented for a specific period, and then they actually go into deep. That's where the deep technology makes a big difference. The business starts with circle around sort of innovation. It's all real. You don't want to just probably take an idea from somebody and start selling that next day. It's not that easy when it comes to the deep tech. But and few of the examples, like there are businesses created all around artificial intelligence. I was talking to a startup cell in Hyderabad, ISB. One of the entrepreneur who actually presented there, talking about, I have a jumbo blockchain startup. And what I do is I'm actually providing the solution to the manufacturing industry for the quality checks, and making sure that when any customer is buying their product, say wafers, they can scan the QR code and see how this packet has moved from factory till the distributor. So everywhere there is a log through which you can see the authenticity. A lot of duplicates you find in the market that just take it out. Now this is a real good use of technology, if I understand. Some of those molecule imaging technologies helping a lot in the pharmaceutical science and the medical science. We have seen a lot of diseases. Treatment are being discussed before the real treatment start. I met another startup in London last month where the doctor was talking about, why I actually provide a can test kind of thing, where before the patient actually start the cancer treatment, they get to know which particular technique will be how much efficient on the given stage. And accordingly, the doctor will prefer. Now, this is a very good one, because many of us probably heard of cancer. It means the life is cancelled now. It's gone. But that is not a day. Many of that is now coming up with the technology. Advancement in the space exploration. A lot of imaging, and high resolutions are coming, which is actually helping. By sitting here only, we can know what's going on into the rest of the world, and probably beyond it. When it comes to the shallow tech, it's purely, the relatively a kind of technology which gets very simple. But then once the deep tech takes the adoption, there is a time where you have to actually have them on, scalable model, so that more people can take the benefit of it. It is absolutely required for more people to learn it and then scale it, so that a real benefit can actually go to the nth level of the society. And then it also mature over the time. through which, you see like, okay, more advancement has come into the areas where we probably have not thought of. Like think about taxi probably 20 years back was like, oh, you have to call somebody, oh, I'm going to airport tomorrow, can you be there at my place 5 a.m. tomorrow? When you get up, you actually first fear is like whether the person will make on time. That's not anymore, because it's democratized to a level where people have taken it as an expectation that, oh, I can go out of airport, I'll take Uber and it has to be available. Like there is no buffer made for it. And that is a real, adoption of technology, we can say. Similarly, like online, everything. 90% of the household things now come through online app. And that is a good adoption in a country like India. I think that is actually helping in a lot of other ways as well. So, and then, it has taken to a stage where it's not limited to a specific crowd of the society. It has gone to probably nth level where digital, the probably smartphone is no more kind of luxury for anybody. It's like a need. Everybody has it. Oh, can you send me your location? And I'll reach to that particular place. I don't have to worry about like, okay, who would be available on the road and I will ask the address and all. Technically, when we see the, deep tech, it's mainly like, either a new technology creating an advancement in the overall, ecosystem. Industry takes this, and sometime, there are industries where the tech adoption are still very limited, but it disrupts. Like taxi market is the best example. Nobody had thought about it that, okay, somebody would be on the web looking at my movement and tell me like in how much time I will be having a patient, maybe a traveler with me. So that is, solving a larger industry problem. And then a major challenge sometimes is about, okay, we really want to use this, not use that, but most of the time it is going without choice. Like an industry like us, if we continue to operate in the way we were operating in, say, 2000, we will be easily out of market in just a couple of years. Because Google and Microsoft can do anything they wanted to if they want to acquire a space that we are in. And that's where we have a problem, is like how we will sustain while there is a creativity and research and development and a new things coming out. But the biggest problem is survival fight, which every small player has, every big player has. And we have seen many big companies actually failing when they stop thinking about the growth. So for us, it's a major challenge is about sustaining and continue to making it more reliable, more, so that people can actually continue to pay us or probably pay us more for the technology and advancement that we are giving. A lot of great, technology we all are aware about, like artificial intelligence, machine learning, we all know. Virtual reality, most recently, like we started putting all our offices on a VR mode, so that nobody has to actually literally go to the office and start working, but rather they can take the complete view of the offices by sitting and going onto a platform and see like, okay, how Hyderabad looks like or how Ahmedabad look like. And we eventually look forward to put that on a real time, so that everybody can see like, oh, you are there, I know. While there could be a privacy questions, but we're gonna mitigate it by subsequent stages and see how we can actually control some travels without, putting too much on that side, how we can use them. Similarly, like, quantum computing has played a big role in our capacity to put the things on the web and then continue to provide the speed of delivery of our data. And then more we will talk, in S&P Global case specifically. So at S&P Global, when technology and innovation come, specifically, on the deep tech, while we certainly, adopted few, we worked with the startup, we felt that, oh, these startup are delivering our POC, and this is a perfect fit for our business, we acquired them. Because that's the way we have to continue, because sometimes startup can't operate with the, problems like COVID, they might not have a big deep pocket, so we need to make sure that our business doesn't take any risk on those sides. But one of the partnerships that I would really call out is with the Indian School of Business in Hyderabad, where we have opened our own blockchain lab. It is an experience lab where anybody can walk in and take an experience of how this technology works. Because many people come with a lot of great experience there for MBA. And we provided this infrastructure not only to ISB, but to the people of Hyderabad as well, or anybody can walk in and actually put their hands, because these are not easy technology where you can probably, buy a CD and install the program and start working. It's little different and little more costly affairs. So we provided that complete infrastructure to them so that people can learn little more about it. And we are thinking similar way to add more of such setups across India, so that people can actually have a hands-on experience and they can start learning little more. Internally, and this is not only internal now, Gen AI hackathon that we are doing, we are actually participating across India with other technology firms as well. And we are inviting, the people through the LinkedIn post that anybody interested in applying their hands on Gen AI, they can come and be a part of it. One of the few acquisitions that I would like to talk about is a Gardex and Forcier. Now this was a simple startup of India operating out of New York. We gave a POC to them on the machine learning side, because when it comes to our work, we basically, think about any press release of the world. All public limited companies gets updated real time. Now for that you need a technology which gives you like what change has come on a website with, or earning release or press release. So we basically created models through this startup, and we worked about 2.5 years as client and company relationship, and then we ended up acquiring them to make sure that we actually continue to scale operations within and make sure that we take the full advantage of it. Not only one, there are a few more that we're doing, but similarly, like there is something called on the OCR kind of thing where the data extraction is quite difficult. PDF, SGML, HTML are a pretty easy source to get the data because it can read behind. But sometimes picture file and the image files are very difficult to get in. We still acquired such kind of POCs through which we have done that. One of the biggest advancement through the deep technology is on the transcription. So any company is putting up the earnings call. It just get a speech to text, and then a sensitivity analysis is actually applied on that. So in fraction of second, you can see how the stock is being traded into the stock market. So that actually gives a very clear-cut understanding to somebody who is listening the call and say like, okay, the CFO is using little stronger positive words, which means that the stock will go up or the future is better. Versus somebody is little more less confident, it can automatically captured into the sensitivity analysis. Helps us capturing the first attraction of the people to those who will stick to our platforms. Similarly, like through estimate, what we basically do right now is now ChatGPT is on top of the town. In next 18 months, every single product platform, we have about 300 product platform, should have a ChatGPT engraved. So Gen AI should be there. And every user should be able to query or ask question, and they should get a systematic answer through the machine only, not that we have to take the phone call and talk to them. That is the ask of the people, and make sure that we provide that support. And then predictive analysis based on the earnings conference call is going to be a basic ask now by every company. Indian traders also look forward to that. And one day, it is right now in the Western world more, probably one day it will hit India as well. But at that time, it will require to be democratized and scalable. With that, I'm sorry. I can simply say, while all of this is great, but when it comes to deep tech, there is also a challenges. One of the biggest challenges, it is highly complex. It's not that someone else just look at it and make the idea working in their side of it as well. It is very expensive research and development. First, the talent that you get for this is very rare. Those who are driven by their own motivation and inspiration. Getting such workforce and keeping that workforce is a very, very important, very big challenge. And we have always seen such key startups have these challenges. Either they put up a equity plan or something to retain the people, but that has always been a challenge. Regulatory and ethical concerns. Because sometime, you crack the code, and I was reading the newspaper this morning, in last 5 years, there are 500,000 attempts on the government websites for the security. Now this is constantly like there is always an attempt because your business is vulnerable and everybody's information is vulnerable. So that is definitely coming, and you have to stop somewhere saying like, oh, this is hitting the privacy part of it. Talent shortage is always going to be there because when it comes to scale, while you can be very successful on the POC part of it, but when you transform and you want to transform the complete business process, it actually creates some kind of question of like whether we have a talent. And when we have a very limited talent, there is always a fight going on, and that's where people move from one place to other place, and that hits your attrition targets. Intellectual property and patents. Everybody, those who see the things working and making impact, they will go and patent it. At that time, you also have to see like when that patent gets over and you can start copying the same thing. And market readiness and adoption. It's still like, some of the industry that we don't see at this point of time. Like, a lot of time, I have seen the quality control was done very, very manually in manufacturing industry. But now it is completely gone. It's on imaginary base, where the camera captures the odd unit and take it out. But how many companies can actually do that? It's a costly affair. So that's where, like jumbo blockchain is another easy, while it looks very great, but when you start adopting, you have to put a lot of money on the table, and they can only be done by the mature player. And the last one is interdiscipline around collaboration. Make sure that when you adopt that, there is always a push coming back from your current workforce saying like, oh, this will take us out of job, all of that, which has to be part of it. So with that, I'll conclude here. I talked about it, but in case anybody of you are interested, knowing what I briefed in the start about India's look forward, feel free to scan this QR code, and you will be able to get information about all the deep research done by some of the best economists of India, as well as our best economists of S&P Global together. Thank you very much for your time today. Thank you for the opportunity.